Miss Moyer here. Just want to let you know before we get started that I miss you very much. I miss making music with you, miss seeing everybody in class, and I hope that you're doing well, singing, working on your schoolwork, maybe doing some of those hand games that we learned in class, and just know that we'll see each other soon. March is Music in Our Schools Month, and even though we're not in school, I thought that we could still do our Composer of the Month. And February's composer was Camille Saint-Saens, and he composed the Carnival of the Animals. I hope some of you remember the activities that we did in music class, like jumping around like kangaroos, or using the scarves for the aquarium and for the swan. And I've included a link to a full video of the Carnival of the Animals down below. And some of you got to watch it in class, some of you didn't, but I hope that you use this time to enjoy the Carnival of the Animals. March's composer of the month is a gentleman by the name of Louis Armstrong. And Louis Armstrong is a famous musician. He's famous for a specific type of music called jazz, and his main instrument was the trumpet. So today, I'm dressed up like Louis Armstrong would have been as a little boy, and we are going to read a book together called A Horn for Louis. I'm going to read you 2 chapters today, and then when I see you again, we'll read the next 2 chapters, and then when we see you again, I'll read the next 2 chapters. Here we go. A Horn for Louis by Eric Kimmel. Chapter 1. A New Orleans Morning. Louis rubbed his eyes. The room was dark and cold. Louis wanted to sleep some more, but it was time to get up. Louis had to go to work. Louis always tried not to move around too much when he got up. He did not want to wake his little sister or his mother. Louis didn't have a bedroom of his own. He didn't even have a real bed. Louis lived in a shack off a run-down street called Brick Row. His bed was a pile of quilts spread on the floor. He shared them with his mother, Mayanne, and his little sister, Mama Lucy. Sharing a bed with 2 other people was a good way to keep warm on cold winter nights. But there was no good way to stay warm when it was time to get up. Louis gave his sleeping sister a kiss. Be sweet, Mama Lucy. I'll see you tonight. And play some of Louis Armstrong's music here. Mama Lucy's real name was Beatrice, but nobody ever called her that. Everyone knew her as Mama Lucy. Even though she was only 5 years old, just about everyone on Brick Row had a nickname. Goat Nose, Rhythm Jaws, Hammock Face. Louis had a nickname too. Most of his friends called him Dipper. It was short for Dipper Mouth. Louis loved to laugh, and when he did, he opened his mouth so wide it looked like the bowl of the dipper in the courtyard water barrel. Be like a ladle. Maybe Mom and Dad use a ladle for soup. Louis took a deep breath and rolled out from under the quilts. Ooh, it was cold. Louis hopped around in the dark. He shivered as he tried to find his clothes. He slept in his long johns so he didn't have to look for them. His mother, Mayanne, had ironed a clean shirt for him and left it on a chair. Louis pulled the shirt over his head. He buttoned it up all the way to the collar. Stockings came next, then knee pants. Man, there were sure a lot of buttons. Knee buttons, and fly buttons, and suspender buttons. Getting all the buttons in the right buttonholes was hard enough. Doing it in the dark when the cold made your fingers stiff was even harder. Louis finally got his clothes buttoned. He slipped his suspenders over his shoulders. Now for his shoes. Even shoes had buttons. Louis used a button hook to pull the shoe buttons through the holes. Man, whoever invented shoe buttons should be run out of town, Louis grumbled. He kept his voice low so he wouldn't wake Mayanne or Mama Lucy. One day, Louis would find a way to make lots of money. Then they'd live in a big house with their own bedrooms and their own beds. It would be nice to have a bed of my own, Louis thought. A real bed in his own room. It would have fluffy pillows and clean white sheets. This is a chapter book, so there aren't pictures on every page, but when there are pictures, I'll show you them. That's Louis. Louis's grandmother told him about beds like that. She used to work in the big houses in the garden district. She cooked and cleaned for rich white people. The beds in those houses were so big and soft. Sleeping there must be like sleeping on a cloud. I'll have a bed like that, and a house like that someday, Louis promised himself. I'll keep the fire in the stove going all night long so it will be warm in the morning. I'll have servants to button up my buttons and light the kerosene lamp so I won't ever have to get dressed in the dark. Pause while I change the music here. Where is it? There we go. I'll have servants to button my buttons and light the kerosene lamp so I won't ever have to get dressed in the dark. Why, I may not even need those lamps. I'll sleep so late that when I wake up, it'll be time to go back to bed. It sure was a fine dream. Although Louis was only 7 years old, he was already trying to make it come true. Louis worked at the old Karnofsky junkyard. He made $1 a day. $1 was a lot of money for Louis's family. It bought food to eat, and it bought coal for the stove. Louis's mother worked at a place where they baled up old newspapers. They only paid her 50 cents a day. Louis felt proud that he could help his family. Christmas was only 2 weeks away. Louis hoped that he could earn extra money to buy presents for his mother and sister. Maybe he would have enough money to buy something special for himself. Louis, why didn't you wake me up? I'll make some lunch for you. Louis heard his mother getting out from under the quilts. No, Mama, go back to sleep, Louis whispered. You can make something for Mama Lucy when she wakes up. You don't need to go to any trouble for me. Mama Karnofsky likes to cook. She gets worried if I don't eat enough. Are you sure, Louis? His mother asked. Those people you work for must be awfully kind to take care of you the way they do. I worry that they do too much. We work hard and we get by. We may not have enough money, but we always pay our own way. I know that, Mama, said Louis. I told you, you can't argue with Mama Karnofsky. I just eat what she puts on my plate. It makes her happy. It made Louis happy, too. The food that Mama Karnofsky put on Louis's plate was mighty good. Mama Karnofsky loved to cook as much as Louis loved to eat. She made lokshen and naidlock and dishes whose names Louis couldn't begin to pronounce. That didn't matter to Louis. He might not be able to say them, but he sure could eat them. Louis's mother kissed him goodbye. Be sweet, son. Work hard and be a good boy. You know I will, Mama. You can count on me, Louis said as he pulled on his jacket. He slipped his tin horn into his pocket, shutting the door behind him. He walked through the alley. Louis heard music. The music came from Perdido Street, the main street of Storyville. Everyone in New Orleans knew about the part of town called Storyville. People in Storyville loved to have a good time. They danced, they sang, they played music. In Storyville, fun and music never stopped. Music played day and night. It poured from every door. The music had many names. Some called it blues, some called it ragtime, some called it jazz. Louis didn't care what they called it. He loved it all. The music made his feet dance. He marched along the pavement and pretended he was leading a big parade. He was the Grand Marshal. A horn began to play. Louis shivered. Only one person in New Orleans could play like that. Joe Oliver. King Oliver. Louis stopped by Pete La-La's place and looked through the open door. He saw Joe Oliver standing up on the little stage, blowing his trumpet. Joe blew low and sad, strong and sweet at the same time. Some said he played like an angel. Some said he played like the devil. Nobody alive could blow horn like Joe Oliver. That was why everyone in Storyville called him King. Louis took out his little tin horn. He put it to his lips. He made believe he was playing too. Louis felt music rise from his heart. He felt it come to life with each breath. His fingers moved up and down on the toy horn. The toy horn didn't have valves like a real trumpet. Still, Louis liked to pretend that he knew how to use the valves and make noise. The people inside Pete La-La's started cheering for Joe Oliver. Louis pretended they were cheering for him. Hooray for King Louis, they cheered. Right here is Louis. If only he had a real horn to play, not just a little tin toy. Ain't never gonna blow like King Oliver on this tin horn, Louis whispered to himself. He put his dream back in his pocket with the tin horn. Louis had to hurry. He did not want to be late for work. So that's chapter 1 of A Horn for Louis. What kind of dreams do you have? I want you to think about that this week. Louis's dream is to play the trumpet, be able to play music like King Oliver. What kind of dreams do you have? It doesn't have to be about music. It could be about something else. Think about it. Tell a friend. You can dojo me on mom or dad's phone, or you can send me a message or my email. I miss you all very much, and I will talk to you later. We'll continue our story. Bye.